Hi, everyone. This is Rae Luskin, artist, author, creative mindfulness mentor, and activist. And today I'm so excited because we are sharing wonderful stories of women who dare. They're bringing together the intersection of art, health, and social change. And we need that. It's been a challenging year and a half, and we all need tools to build our resilience so that we can rise up and be the leaders of change in our homes, our communities, and in our workplace. And for that, today, I'm very excited to introduce Alexandra Chai. She has been a teacher of mine. I actually met her during COVID, and so I wanted to bring her on here today. She is a rhythm student for many years. She is a recording artist, but she brings to life movement and drumming in a way that I've never experienced. So welcome.
It is my complete pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I would love for you to tell your story. I mean, from the time, where you struggled and where you are today. So you want to jump in. I know this could be a 4-minute conversation or a 20. So go for it.
All right, I'll be brief. Well, I was born in Santiago, Chile, and I have always loved rhythm and movement. And when I was 3 years old, I began classical dance training. And I loved it. Movement seemed to be a very natural place for me. And we went through a very difficult time coming from Chile to Canada and ended up landing in Vancouver, British Columbia when I was very young. And this separation from our extended family and from my parents, my grandparents, we separated was very, very, very difficult. So my upbringing was kind of had some challenges with separation of community, of culture. And somehow when I would dance and I would get to the studio and I would just be free in my body and movement, I would feel better. So I really recognized that. At the age of 16, though, I went through a very, very difficult period. I think the hormones and the changes from becoming girl to woman and that transition was very difficult. And I began having depression and anxiety. I also developed an eating disorder. The dancing community and some of the ideals of the body image, that whole thin obsession was something that I was scared to develop into a woman, and I wanted to keep that child body. And so I became very, very anxious and depressed and with eating disorder, and really hit an all-time low around that age of 16. And my mother, a psychiatrist, was wanting me to, was wanting to help me. And she tried everything. And she was a meditator, and my mom was a very progressive psychiatrist. She always believed in meditation along with medication. So she, at a very early age, herself began meditating. So when I was about 3 or 4, I began learning about yoga and meditation techniques. So I was already primed and learning about mindfulness from, my upbringing. And my mother, whatever she was learning, she was trying to teach me. So we were very open-minded, and I had tried everything from transcendental meditation, loving kindness meditation, yoga classes, done everything. And here I was at 16 at my all-time worst, and my mom and my parents wanted us to go on a holiday and get away. And we were on our way to Whistler, beautiful mountain in British Columbia. And on our way there, we happened upon a drum workshop. And this was led by a Nigerian master drummer, Babatunde Olatunji. I swear, every time I think about this, I get emotional because it changed the course of my life. He passed me a drum. He gave a drum to my parents. And within 30 seconds of connecting to the pulse and him guiding me with so much love and compassion, it was like I was initiated into the healing power of drumming. And this powerful experience, I ended up drumming with him for 5 days. My body physically started changing. And I'll tell my private story that in these 5 days, I was almost 17 years old and I hadn't had a menstruation. On day 2 of drumming, I had my first bleed. And it was like, not only was I healing emotionally, but my physical body, I was becoming a woman. It was like I I came home. And I think of it now, many, many years later, 36 years later, I realized that I came home to my heart. And it was then that I allowed my physical body became healthier. Like the mind and the body are so connected. Anyhow, so this began a lifelong journey of studying world rhythms. And I studied a traditional West African drumming, Brazilian drumming. I studied Afro-Cuban drumming and ended up in Cuba and studied with master drummers there, and studied Middle Eastern drumming from master drummers from across the globe. And then in 2003, I opened a drum school. And the drum school had a focus of nurturing the joy and the connection and the serenity inherent in hand drumming, because that's what had saved me. And now scientific research has confirmed what Babatunde was teaching us decades ago and what I experienced in that initiation. When we drum mindfully, we reduce stress, we reduce the pain response, our mood improves, it bolsters immunity and our health and wellness. It also helps to curb addictive patterns, thinking patterns that are negative thought patterns, ruminating, anxious thought patterns. It helps to break behaviors that are addictive and negative and not self-serving. And really importantly, and what I was holding, it helps to release negative emotion and trauma, which I had a lot of trauma coming from a country that had been really ripped apart by a government political just upheaval. And so then I had a focus. So this was like my experience. And now we know there's so much more research done.
Right. Yours was very intuitive in the beginning, your knowledge. And having a progressive mom helped, because mindfulness, I didn't know what mindfulness was until, 20, 30 years ago. I never had a clue. So, yeah.
So she really supported my journey. And I naturally started teaching drumming to students with a kind of yoga philosophy that I'd been brought up with. And my mother, not only a psychiatrist, was doing research on mindfulness. She was part of she was doing research at the University of British Columbia on the mindfulness stress reduction program. And this is John Kabat-Zinn's mindfulness program, using mindfulness to reduce stress and anxiety. And so I was learning about some of the techniques that she was using, and I began to naturally infuse that into my drumming classes. So what I began finding was that when I blended yoga philosophy, mindful movement, and meditation practices, not only that I'd learned from my mom, but also I was a yoga teacher and a Pilates instructor and a meditation teacher myself. So I began to infuse these other practices and blend them to the drumming. And what I found time and time again was that students like me, I mean, I was my first student, was that when we connected with our bodies, when we connected with our breath and connected that to the powerful beat of the drum, we had the most healing and the most benefit from the drumming experience.
Well, I want to say, when it's interesting, one of the activities you do, sometimes you always start with some movement, before you sit down to drum. Yeah. And you were talking about like Tara Brach and the angel wings, kind of thing. And I always loved that. That was an image that I could hold on to, taking that forward, because we need that. I need that. I will say that. I can't say everybody does, but I do believe we all need mindfulness practices that support us in going forward, whatever our challenge is. So can you talk a little bit more about that and some of those practices that you've used? I'm going to let everybody know we're going to do a little drumming, a little experiential stuff later, but we're just doing the talking part now.
Yeah. So the mindfulness, it was a big word. A lot of people use it a lot. What is meditation? What is mindfulness? And I think we can understand things in our head, but when we actually have an experience of being mindful, it brings a lot more knowing. So there's one thing about thinking something or understanding something just intellectually in our head. And I would say the mindfulness practice is one about knowing in really deep within the whole being, the whole somatic experience. So I love Tara Brach's she speaks about meditation, or she speaks about mindfulness as like a bird with these two wings. Right. And so often I actually, when I explain what it is, I bring my wings out. I'm like, okay, I'm like a bird with two wings. And what is this mindfulness bird? And the first wing is the wing of non-judgmental observation. So you're just watching. And in this non-judgmental, this is huge, non-judgmental. So here, it doesn't matter what you sound like. It doesn't matter what you look like. And so that takes away the performance from the musical experience.
I think it's something for everything. I mean, we all need to be non-judgmental in our relationships, our work experience, not just drumming. I do a lot of collage and painting, and I use it there too. And I talk to my grandkids about it all the time. You know, we have to let go of judging, comparing, all those kind of pieces.
Exactly. So this drumming experience is one of non-comparing, non-judgment, just simply being present, or what I think of when I'm really in my groove, being in the flow, in the moment. And then the next wing of loving kindness, or of mindfulness, is loving kindness. So this is the idea that we're infusing every drum beat, every breath, and every movement with gentleness, with compassion, with loving kindness. And if we look at rhythm cultures, and all rhythm cultures, there are people who have rhythm, the cultures, there are people who are connected to the land, they're drumming. And there's something about being connected to the land and shaking rattles or playing drums. And we see that these cultures use the rhythm in prayer and in healing. So there's an intention or a purpose. So this loving kindness piece, if we look at the history of how drumming has been used, there's always been an intention, some form of healing, community gathering, some purpose. And so when we drum with purpose, we receive the most benefit. So for instance, coming into the fall, we're going to be focusing on rhythms for release, releasing stress, anxiety, perhaps releasing anger or resentments that we hold, coming into forgiving ourselves and forgiving others. It's a big piece. And so all of the songs, the chants that we sing, the movements that we do, and the beats that we do, they come with an element of purpose. I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go of being so hard on myself, so judging of myself, of hating the other. Isn't this a good time for that? Like, the world has separated in so many ways. There's so much duality. While we're drumming, we can bring a focus of connection. And what do we connect to? We ground ourselves to the beat of the drum. And everybody who's practicing is doing that together. So we're a community, and we're co-regulating, meaning that we are social beings. We need to come together. And when we co-regulate, we can then self-regulate. When we feel connected, when we feel safe, when we feel part of something, then we can release out fear, release having to constantly protect, release resentment and anger, and come into a heart connection. And those moments are blissful moments. So rhythm bliss comes from these moments of moving into that place of the heart. So right. That's the mindfulness. So speaking about mindfulness, that I just want to come back just so we full circle. So Tara Brach's mindfulness, and how does that relate to hand drumming or our movement or breath practices, is that non-judgmental flow, that non-judgmental observation, being in the present moment. Doesn't matter what you sound like. That's big for drumming. A lot of people carry this, have this idea that, oh, I'm not a musician, I can't drum.
Me.
Yeah, and that's the step one. We're gonna take that one. We're gonna put all those ideas. We're gonna throw it out.
I know.
Throw it out, because really, we want to move away the musician. Everybody is entitled to connect to the beat of a drum. We are born with a beating heart, and before we were even born, we listened to our mother's heartbeat and her mother's heartbeat, because when your mother was a fetus, she was in your grandmother. So you have been connected to your ancestry through that beautiful connected heartbeat. So this is something that's elemental. So we get out of the head, we get out of this idea, how am I doing? Am I good at this? Am I a musician?
Right. I do that with creative. I talk about creativity. We're all born creative. somebody gave us oh, you're not good enough, stop daydreaming, you're never going to make a living. And so I totally relate to that. And yet there is this dichotomy when it comes to music for me. It's like, and those old voices, you can't sing, mouth the words in choir, or you can't keep a beat, so I understand some of those kind of words and myths that we're carrying around in our bodies, and as you said, it's somatic. We've carried it. It's a core elemental thing that we have the ability to change it through the mindset and through working through it. But it does take work. It's not just, that's a really ingrained thing from the age of 5, 6, 7, usually, that we carry with us, whether it is, I can't paint, or I can't draw, or I'm not creative, or I can't drum. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had a wonderful teacher, Jackie Asombe, a dancer from Cameroon, and she was a real village. She was really into gathering community, and wonderful woman. And she used to say in her language, there's no word for musician, because everybody, when they gather in the circle, they all sing, they all dance, everybody participates. It's not like there's an audience and there's the musician on stage. This concept is very much cultural, but music and gathering is a community experience where people can come in the circle. So that's another big difference, is that there's the connection of community where we're all part of it and we all participate in our unique ways.
Right.
And there is no audience performer at all. Everybody. So the idea of musician right away creates a separation. Oh, you're the musician or I'm not. But in the Cameroonian, from Cameroon, everybody, the women, the men, the children, the grandparents, they all connect and they sing and they start doing their thing and they're all participating. There's no difference between musician and audience. It's a circle. And that's another aspect that I think is really important in our program, is that everybody participates in their unique way.
Why don't you explain a little bit about what it was like until COVID and how things have changed and for you and for your company? So
Sure. So for about 15, 16 years, I was teaching in my in my basement studio, and it is like this little oh my goodness, our studio it's like a little temple, because for 15 years we've been praying in rhythm, releasing, sharing, crying. It is a space for people to really come together and do their own personal work, but we do it in a group, and we do drum prayer, And so when COVID came, we were about to start our spring session. It was in March, and I had to close the studio. It certainly was we're really close together, everybody in the circle, in the space, breathing, moving, dancing. This was not COVID friendly. And I have many students in our group we even have 90-year-olds in our class. At our studio, we say that after the age of 90, once you're 90, you don't have to pay. You just come. They're the wise elders. So we've had some 90-year-old drum students, and their wise elders come for free. And so I definitely was not going to have the studio open, because we have a lot of vulnerable, beautiful drum souls coming. And so I told my husband, you know what? We had already started an online program. The online program at that time was for students who went away to visit their grandchildren or who traveled, to be able to continue their drum practice. So one of the things I talk about, and what I found over the years, is that drumming is a lifestyle program, just like meditation. It's like you don't brush your teeth one time and then you're done brushing your teeth. You don't meditate once and then it's over. It's a part of your lifestyle, and drumming is a form of meditation. And so we come together and we drum regularly. I can drum by myself, I can drum with community, but it is part of my lifestyle. And that helps. It's almost like I want to wash my hair to keep it looking good. Well, I want to clear my anxiety, my guck. I start building up. Stress starts building up. I need to let it go. So drumming is drumming mindfully. It's a meditation practice, and we want to do it regularly. So my students, when they would go away, I had a program that they could sign up, and they paid, I don't know, a certain monthly fee. And then we recorded some classes, and we had a whole bunch of videos there for people to drum when they weren't in the studio. And at that time, it was a very small part of our business. Most of it was happening in person. But what we did, because Zoom became accessible, and we decided to do live stream classes. So we did the same that we would do in our circle, but I offered it 4 times a week at varying levels, because we have some drummers that have been coming for 20 years, 15, 16 years, very long time. And before I had this studio, I had another one. So I've really been at it for a long time. And then I had some drummers that were really very, very just coming into it. So we have different levels based on people's experience. And so we just put it on live stream Zoom. And what we found, and my husband's really good with technology. He's really good with marketing, and he's video making, and he's a musician. He's a great musician. So he started playing, and I was teaching him how to play the African dunun drums, which are the bass drums. And so he began being my accompanist. And we had been playing in a band since the time we met. In fact, our relationship was our musical relationship was what kind of made us really glue together. We always have played in bands together and played music together, and family gatherings are always with him and I playing music together. And we love
that's a good story. I like that. Yeah.
Our story is beautiful, how we met and play music together. So this felt like completely natural. And all of a sudden we had people joining us from different parts of the world. We've had people from Brazil, from Asia, from Botswana, from all over the place. I was like, oh my goodness, and the UK, and all of a sudden it became a global drum groove bubble. So in my mind, though, when I look into the camera and I teach the class, I literally see our circle after 15, 16 years of being in the studio in these beautiful, intimate circle together with people. I really brought that energy, because that is still there. That is real to me. So that came through. And because I have 3 children and I had to raise my 3 kids, I was not one to go traveling to study. I couldn't financially, and I couldn't physically leave my children. So once I started having children, my studies changed, and I had a lot of teachers that I learned from online. I had a teacher in Istanbul. I had a teacher in Tasmania. And so we would do Skype. At that time, it wasn't Zoom, it was
Right.
Skype. So I knew what was possible with online learning. And I knew I could do this. I was very confident, because all I had to do was transmit the love, the joy, the connection, and the healing that we received for 15 years here in the circle, and just send that through the waves. And we noticed that people started coming in, and we've had up to 1,000, 950 students, all drumming and sharing and doing classes together, being part of the community. And now we're coming into the fall season, and we want to bring attention to this work. It's not expensive to do. It feels good. It's a bio, psycho, social, and spiritual program. So people who like to move and groove and pray in movement and heal in movement, get into their bodies with it. Nothing has to be big, and there's no super, it's not super active. It's very personal how you want to move with it. But I invite that. For me, prayer happens more when I'm in connection with my body than just sitting in stillness. So,
I have to walk. When I'm walking out in nature, that's when I feel the most connected. So I totally get that. Everybody's different. And I think we don't give enough conversation to the idea of somatic response, that we store trauma in our bodies, that we have these things that are there and we don't know how to access it or release it, as you say. And I think this is a great way. And I love what you did when I was part of the classes, because you said, look, you can stand up, if not sit, lay down, whatever it is, to move your body in a way that's comfortable, and to start there and start where you are.
Yeah, I would say that when that initial experience with Baba Tunde, if I were to kind of try to give like words to my experience, it was like I had been tied up right here and living only in here, just tight, stuck. And then all of a sudden I heard the drums, the powerful beat, the connection to the pulse, his loving, generous offering of unconditional love. That's what it was. And all of a sudden, it opened, and I became integrated with the other aspects of my being, the other aspects of my intelligence, my heart, my gut. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, I'm whole. And so I'd say that our culture has kind of restricted and thought of this as being the only thing that is real. And we need to get out of that. I think we need to move away from that, because true wisdom is not just using our head. We need to become embodied to really have a sense of knowing, of wisdom. It's not just about intellectual stuff anymore, I think. And I think going forward and to evolve as a species, we need to be able to get out of that.
Hi, everyone. We had a little glitch there for a moment. We're talking about what to share with you next, because we think it's so important for you to experience this work. An experiential thing is much more, than just talking about it. So why don't you share a little what we came up with, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So this is just, we're going to let you see a clip, and actually not let you experience it for yourself. That's the key, is to just have a little experience. And so you can think of this video that's coming up for you to do like just a little practice so that you can experience it, because we can talk about it until we're blue in the face. But what really matters is that we get that experience of getting into our bodies. And this little clip that we're going to, it's a 15-minute practice that we're going to give you here. And I did this video with my son, our son Benjamin, who is a wonderful jazz pianist. He's actually in his 4th year right now, completing his undergraduate degree, and he's a great drummer. He grew up drumming, of course, and so he's playing with my partner and husband Michael and I, and this we did for a corporate event. And basically this I was hired to be in to do a little like kind of shake it out between meetings. Sometimes people, they sit for too long, and if they're doing strategic planning, it's good to get out of the head a little bit. So this particular practice that you're going to get to experience is just a little taste of getting into your body and using rhythm and breath and movement to feel good, to be uplifted. So I hope you enjoy that.
Oh, I know we will. And so I want to say goodbye to everyone, and thank you so much for participating today. As Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And so whatever you take from this, and I'm telling you, even just the body drumming on a table makes a difference. Just something you can do for yourself every day. And again, Alexandra, thank you. And everybody, watch for her. Why don't you tell them where they can find out about Rhythm Bliss and what's coming up for you before we say goodbye?
Love for you to join us in the program. We are offering 4 weekly live stream classes right now at varying levels. As well, we are about to embark on a 40-day Rhythms of Release challenge. And the challenges are an opportunity to cultivate a regular meditation practice. And we do this together in community. And the focus is rhythms for release right now as we're coming into the fall season. And we have also hundreds of videos in our program. You can check out www.rhythmbliss.com. You can just Google Rhythm Bliss and you'll find us for more information. And we have hundreds of videos on instructional material on how to play different drums, as well as movement practices and rhythm chants and rhythm meditations. So it'd be wonderful to have you join our program, learn more, first experience it. We want people in our community that resonate with this practice. They've tried different things, and this is what, we're all unique and we're all different, and we want to provide a community of people that love to move and groove together. And so I hope you'll give it a try and then join us at Rhythm Bliss.
Yes, thank you. And please stay tuned and listen to more of our Women Who Dare virtual summit. We've got so many wonderful healers and visionaries and people who want to help you. Because once we help, as you were saying in our conversation about building, if we're healed and whole and we're building community, that's how we change the world. That's how we improve things. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
My name is Alexandra, and today we're going to have a quick 15-minute stress-reducing, joy-inducing, mindful hand drumming and movement session. Joining us is my partner, Michael.
Hello, hello.
And our son, Benjamin. So it's a family affair. Let's begin by getting off of our chairs, and we'll start with just a bounce, a gentle bounce, just to begin to unwind and release out tension. Allow your breath to be nice and full, and your feet to be about hip or shoulder distance apart, and just let your shoulders relax. Your spine is nice and long. Shake out your arms. Good. And one little last bit here. Nice big full breath in through your nose if you can. And exhale out through your mouth. Standing with a nice long spine, take a breath. Inhale, palms up, fill up completely. And exhale, palms down. You can bend your knees, bring your chin towards your chest. Another breath, inhale in through your nose if you can. Expanding and filling up. And exhale, release, let go and unwind. You can close your eyes here as you take another breath, filling up into your belly, your side ribs, your back body. Expand, expand, expand. And exhale out through your mouth, a nice cleansing breath. Take a breath, inhale, circle your shoulders up. And exhale, circle back and down. Another breath, inhale. And as you exhale, circle your shoulders back and down. And let's just do one more like that. Inhale, circling up. And exhale, opening through your chest as you circle your shoulders. Take a breath now. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And as you exhale, just begin to climb. Breathing full deep breaths here. Just like you're climbing a ladder and stretching your whole body. Good. Take a big breath. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, nice bend to your side there, to your right side. Inhale, reach up. And other side, relax your shoulders, relax your facial muscles, engage your core as you reach up and over. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, circle your arms nice and wide as you circle down. Nice. Inhale here, take a breath. Interlace your fingers, and as you exhale, bend your knees, bring your palms forward and your mid-back behind you, your chin towards your chest. Good. And now as you're breathing here, just do a little gentle sway if that feels good. Just stretching out through your back and engaging the front of your body. Nice big breath. Inhale, root your feet down as you reach up to the sky, wiggle your fingers, and exhale, circle your arms down. Now we'll do a nice chest opener here. Take your hands and imagine you've got your back pockets in the back there, and your fingertips are pointing down. Now have your spine nice and long and bring your elbows back behind you. This is a counter computer pose, so good to open through the chest. Relax the shoulders down. Slide your chin in and lengthen the crown, the crown of your head to the sky as you try to bring your elbows back behind you. Good. Now engage your abdominal muscles and take a breath. Inhale. Lift your chest up maybe a little bit higher without letting your head drop back. Nice big breath. Holding that. Draw your inner thighs in, lengthen and open through your chest. And now exhale. Nice and gentle. Moving to center. And let's just circle the shoulders, the hips, kind of wiggling it out here as we prepare to go to our chair. I'll see you there. sitting in your chair with a long spine and sit forward in your seat so that you can move your elbows back and not hit the backrest. I prefer chairs that don't have armrests as they interfere with your drumming experience. I'm going to be teaching you Babatunde Olatunji's Gundun Godo Pata method. Babatunde was a master drummer from Nigeria who initiated me into the healing power of drumming over 35 years ago. I'd like to thank Baba for his wonderful sharing, and we will all tap into the healing power of drumming, stress-releasing and joy-inducing rhythms as we learn our lap drum. So I'm going to teach you everything from the lap. I'm going to be playing a djembe drum. The djembe drum originated in Mali, is now played throughout Africa and throughout the globe. Let's begin with the first tone. And this one is played with all of the squishy part of your hand. And all you're going to do is bounce. Let's do this together. Bounce. Here, we call this tone goon. Goon, 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 goon. It's called the goon, and you're playing with all of the skin of your hands. The second tone is called go or go-do, and that one is played with the fingers. And naturally, this go-do position is a heart-opening, chest-opening posture. Really nice after you've been sitting it too long. You want to open through your chest. And so all you're doing is you're bringing your elbows out and you're playing with your fingers. So you'll notice me saying goon, which is the whole hand on thigh, and go-do, bringing the elbows out and playing with the fingers. Let's warm up our hands and circle our hands around in circles, lubricating our wrist joints and going in both directions. Good. And palms up and down. And I just want to say as we're doing this that the drumming does not require a lot of thinking. We are all born drummers. The first sound that we ever heard was the sound of our mother's heartbeat before we were even born. And after we were born, we were all comforted by listening to that calming and soothing pulse. Let's bring the palms together now, just rubbing the palms, getting them nice and warmed up. Spine is long. Send your elbows out and shoulders relax down, creating space between the bottoms of your ears and your shoulders. Slide your chin in and lengthen your crown up. Take a big breath. And as you exhale, just relax, release your hands, and feel the sensation, the vibration, and the palms of your hands. And now we're ready to drum. Michael, give me a pulse. Here we go. Can you play with me? On your lap, both hands, arms are free. You're bouncing like a child on a trampoline. We can use the tone, we can vocalize. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, 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 goon. Keep going. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, 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 hey, hey, hey. Keep going. Feel the pulse. Begin to alternate right and left hand. Goon, goon. I'm going to put on my drum. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, 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 goon. Kick it. Nice. Here we go. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, 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 goon. Goon, goon. Feel the pulse. Goon, 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 goon. Watch this. Goon, goon. Then we cross through the midline. Ha, ha. Goon, goon. Release. Letting go of tension and stress. Ha, check it out, man. Let go. Let go. Ah, hey, hey. Ha, ha. Ha, maybe exhale as you cross. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Inhale. Ha, ha. Ha, ha. Let go. Release it out. Ha, ha. Ah, hey, ah, hey. Let it go. Ah, hey, ah, hey. Ha, ha. Good, good. Eyes on me. Good, good. Here we go. And good, 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 good. That's it. Adding on the go-do. We're activating the right and the left hemispheres of our brain as we use both hands. Whole brain activity allows us to think clearer, release tension, release stress. Go do it, go like this. Go do, go do, go do. Elbows up, bench, can you put it on the left? Go do, go do, go do, go. Elbows out, shoulders down. Go do, go do, go do, go do. 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 Eyes on me. Good, 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 good. Go do, go do, go do, go do. 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 Go do, go do for a challenge. Cross the opposite hand to thigh, and then go do, crossing it over. Good, 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 good. Go do, go do, go do, go do. 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 Eyes on me, it goes like this. Goon, goon, cha cha cha. Goon, goon, cha cha cha. Goon, goon, cha cha. It's a heartbeat, heartbeat, cha cha cha. Goon, goon, heartbeat, heartbeat, rhythm, yeah, heartbeat, ya pa pa, hare pa pe, ya pa pa hey. Cha cha cha. All of us connecting, unifying to the pulse of the heartbeat. Hare away, a rhythm, yeah, a rhythm, yeah, a rhythm, yeah, in my head, a rhythm now. Just a heartbeat pulse we do. Goon, goon, ha. Inhale and releasing tension, opening through your chest, long spine. One more inhale, exhale to the heartbeat. A rhythm, yeah, heartbeat. Cha cha cha, cha cha cha, hey, yeah, cha cha cha, yeah, eyes on me now. We go heartbeat, shoulder shrug, heart, ha, 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 ha. Exhale, releasing tension for the shoulders. Ha, hey, let it go. Let it go. Amazing. Take a breath, inhale. See if you can bring your arms up, lengthen your spine up as you relax your tail down. Wriggle through your ribs just a little bit there. Take a nice big inhalation. And as you exhale, let's twist. So opposite hand to thigh, relax your shoulders down and bring your back hand on the inside of your chair as you do a nice gentle twist. Nice. Take another breath. Inhale, come back up to center. Reach your arms, wiggle them up, your fingers. Nice big breath. And unwind, twist the other way. As you twist, you wring out the tension in your spine. Relax your facial muscles and your shoulders and find a twist that feels good for you, not too sharp or hard. It should feel good. Inhale, breath, come back to center. Good, you can reach your arms up, circle them down, and let's just circle the shoulders up. And now exhale, sigh it out. and now you're ready for the rest of the day. Enjoy. Thank you, guys. Bye.